Hello Professor, this is my recording for Milestone 2 for my CST 256 class. As you can see, I'm going to jump right in because it's going to be a little bit more this time. As you can see, we got the login and register page. We changed a little bit about this, so I'm going to register a new user as me, and we'll put in my email, and my username will be test, and my password will be test as well. If I log in, you can see now we're entering a demographic. We're creating a profile, so we're entering demographic information here. So we've got 11, 29, 1996, and I currently reside in Duvall, Washington, but I'm from Spokane, Washington. And my bio, this is a test of the website. Gender is male, ethnicity, we'll just put Welsh, I don't really know, but that's in there. And my age is 23. I'm going to choose a profile picture to upload, and just for fun, I'm going to use this pineapple picture. And we'll click finish. And you can see now it takes me to this page here, which is my profile page. We've got where I'm from, what I identify as, what my birthday is, that I reside in Duvall, Washington, my bio, and just some information here, and it even displays that profile picture there. And if we go to the other portion of this, which was admin/users, you can see I've got that one that I just put in there, David Pratt, test, age is 23, user since today at 1850. I'm not an admin, but I am active. So, and then if I click view, again, we're going back to that view there. Suspend, you can see that active turns to no, reactivate, active turns to yes, to admin, admin becomes yes, no admin, admin becomes no. If I click delete, user's gone. So, I'll give you a little rundown of what we did here. Let me get to my code. So here's milestone 1. First of all, we'll start with the migrations that I ran. We're going to enter full screen here so that we can really see it. Just a profile ID, the image location, the age, gender, race, from city, birthday, bio, and then timestamps, and then we created that foreign ID there. And then if I go to the profiles table, we've just, this one's really simple, user ID, and then makes an index on that user ID, and it references the users table. And then, so over in, we'll move on to the routes here. So here in the routes page, you can see we've got the login and register routes, but we've also got that profile with the user ID wildcard. And if you're creating a user, you're hitting this create, and then also you're hitting an add demographics, and you'll see that one is when we submit that demographics form that I was showing you where I put in all of my information. And then you've got the view, which is what was showing me that profile page. Down here in the admin ones, users.suspend. These are all pretty much from suspend on down. These are all business. So you've got reactivate, delete, suspend, and then create an admin. So patch to an admin or post to an admin, which gets rid of their admin. So we'll go over onto the demo info. This is the page. This is the HTML for that page. You can see that we are hitting that URL/profile/create with the user ID, and the action is post. We've got enter a birthday here, and we're testing for errors so that if in here, let me go back to that page. We're just going to give it profile/1/create because I know there's a user. If I were to try and finish this, it comes back and tells me that everything is required, including the input file. Get back to our code here. Okay, next row, we've got this current city, you've got the from city, you've got the bio, you've got the select here for male, female, or unspecified, you've got ethnicity, which has a lot of selectors. I found this online and it seemed to cover almost everything, so I kind of just copy and pasted that. We've got age here, which is a number selector, starts at 18, max at 90. It could cap it. I didn't really need to cap it. I just stuck it at 90 just so that we didn't have obscene, 340 ages or whatever in the database. And then in here, here's your input file right there. Okay, and then on to where we were seeing that profile, which is where so that one goes into the business, which if you go into web, that goes into the business here at profile.create, and then that profile.create or add demographics function, which we'll see in a sec, redirects to profile.view, which is this page here. You've got the profile image location. There's an easier way I've seen to symlink into some storage, and I've actually, if you look at, we're going to actually not look at that, we're going to do this. And if you look over here, I have symlink, so you've got storage, app, public, images, and you've got all these images for users. And then here you've got, you can symlink it to public, storage, images, all the same. If we, yeah, you can see that they're all the same. I couldn't get the symlink to work though, so I had to go to it via, I guess this would be a direct or a complete path instead of like a URL helper or an asset helper or something like that. Just the way that I had to do it. The alt is that it's the user's username's profile picture. And then we've got that first name, last name there, username, and then age, and it's just all pretty standard stuff. And we actually have it wrapped in an if statement, so if there isn't a profile, it says it looks like you haven't finished your profile yet, and then you can click on this and it will actually route you to creating your profile. That way, if somebody were to say just log in, or just register, they could still log in and it would still take them to that profiles page, but it doesn't make them finish their profile right on creating an account. Okay, now on to the we'll go to the profile controller, which is where we have that add demographics. First we got create, which is really simple. If there is a profile, if that user has a profile, we're going to an edit page, which I don't have set up yet. I just have that routing there. So right now, if I were to try and create with my user that I have in there, it would actually give me a 404 because this excuse me, this profile here is not found. And I'm actually, just for grins and giggles, going to make this a little more verbose. We're going to call it profile there. So that when I do set that up, we can actually we can find it easier. But otherwise, we're returning a view called create demo info, which is that one that you've seen, and it's passing the user ID as user ID. This function .show, we're returning the profile view with the user, the profile, and the demographics. This demographics query here was a little bit difficult because I had to use a subquery, which actually forces you to pass in a function using that user ID and then append to that query variable. Excuse me. Add demographics here, we're validating the input, we're beginning the transaction. This is really cool. This actually just stores the image in that storage /app/public/images down here. Pretty sweet. And then we just create a profile. If there isn't a profile, we're rolling it back and we're redirecting back with this error. Otherwise, we're creating a demographic and adding that in, and then again, if that doesn't work, we're rolling it back. We're redirecting to that view. Boom, good to go. Alright, on to the admin controller, and I'm actually going to pull up another page here. We've got users, that's the one we're looking at. This is the table. Really, really simple. For loop. All the table information here we're passing in. We're doing it as a for loop, and then we're passing in users and demographics, and we're actually passing in a profile here too. I didn't use any of the information from it, but and you can see the way that I changed those buttons is just a bunch of if-else statements, so that when we're looking at this admin/users page, you can see if I suspend them, this button changes to green. If I make them an admin, which I shouldn't be able to do if they're suspended, but I didn't add that support in there, you can see it changes to yellow and that kind of thing. And that was simply with a bunch of if-else statements, and they actually have different forms for each of those ones. If the demographics have more or have less than the users, that means some user didn't put in their profile, so we just give them an error, give the admin an error that says, hey, it looks like some people haven't done it all the way yet. Otherwise, if there's no users, we're saying there's no, telling them, oh, wait, there's no users here, so there's a problem. So if I were to delete that one, you would see that red displayed there. Really simple. If we go onto the admin controller, This is where we're getting all the information and doing all the business for that. It's actually pretty repetitive, and I wish I had a way that I could make it less repetitive, but we'll just do the show users here is just passing that users and demographics on to that view that I just showed you. So it's actually not pulling in the profile, it's just users and demographics. But the suspend user business, we're grabbing a user ID, we're grabbing that user, and then we're setting their is active to 0 and then updating that user. And then users and demographics redirecting back to there with the users and the demographics back to the users page. I probably could have done it a couple different ways where this, because I just copy and pasted these 3 lines here, 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 and here. They're all just updating different things. So this one's setting their active back to 1. This one's setting their admin status to 1. This one's setting their admin status to 0. So it's 4 different things that do basically all the same thing, just on different directions and on different columns of the table. Excuse me. But that is all for this week that I have made. Thank you very much. I'll talk at you next week.